Hi, it's okay. I'm hoping to use your customer size policy today. Yes, I'm leaving, yes.
Right there we go, ma'am.
Thank you.
Place this in the seat next to you.
Okay, thank you so much for your help. May I have a seatbelt extender, please?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. There's a lot to talk about here, and I'm actually a little nervous to make this video because I know as soon as I explain the details of how Southwest's customer size policy works, there are going to be some upset people here. So I think my best approach is to just stick to the facts, leave opinion out of it, and tell you how the policy works. Southwest actually offers 2 different ways to get a free extra seat if you need one because of your body size. Option 1, pay for 2 seats up front just to reserve 2 seats for you on the plane. And then once your trip is over, call Southwest's customer service number and they'll refund you for that extra seat even if the flight was full. Option 2, just buy 1 ticket and then go to the airport when it's time for your flight. At the gate, let the agent know that you need an extra seat because of your size. The gate agent will check to see if there's an extra seat on the flight, and if there is, they'll assign it to you, they'll reprint your boarding pass, and you're good to go. If the flight is fully booked by the time you get to the airport and there aren't any available seats, they'll make an announcement at the gate to see if there are any volunteers to give up their seats to make space on the plane. If somebody volunteers to give up their seat, they will be compensated by Southwest in some way or another, probably with some sort of a credit. I'm not entirely sure what happens if there are no volunteers, but I would assume that you would need to find a new flight. Now, I said I would leave opinion out of this TikTok, and I will, but I have opinions, and I'm sure you do too. So check for part 2.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Southwest Airlines because they're going viral over their customer of size policy, right? Which apparently is a policy that allows people that are plus size to gain a free seat on the flight after plus size activists have been boohoo, whining, and crying about how it's unfair that they're not allowed to get an extra seat for free because they are too large. Their bodies are too large. Their bodies take up too much space to fit in one seat. Okay, so they've been demanding that the government step in and force these airlines to give them a free seat. And lo and behold, you have at least one airline responding to their woke demands and saying, we'll give you a free seat for being plus size. So I want to talk about this because this is just another example of how our society is entering Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs world. It really is upside down land. And stories like this are exactly what I'm talking about. Take a look.
Dallas-based Southwest Airlines is getting fresh attention for a policy it's had for decades. Advocates for plus-size travelers have caught on to the policy. It gives certain customers the option to request an extra seat at no additional cost. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joins us with more on how the policy works, along with reaction. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Clarice. Well, as you might imagine, this is a policy that's getting a lot of buzz. Southwest's inclusion policy has actually been around for about 30 years and appears to be the only U.S. carrier with such an extensive policy. And as you might imagine, reaction to this topic is mixed.
Plus-size travelers are giving high praise to Dallas-based Southwest Airlines for its little-known inclusion policy. It's getting a lot of traction ahead of the holiday travel season thanks to plus-size influencers.
I want as many people to know about this policy as possible so that people of all sizes, especially those of us living in larger bodies or even super fat bodies, are aware of the policy.
Planes should be accessible. We should have bigger seats.
Kimmy Garris has taken advantage of the policy 3 times, which states customers whose bodies encroach past the armrest are entitled to an extra seat free of charge. There's 2 ways to access the benefit. One is to talk to the gate agent.
When you pre-board, you're able to go get your 2 seats, and then you place the ticket in your second seat, and it just says that it's reserved, so you have that extra space.
But with flights often full, Southwest recommends plus-size passengers buy an extra ticket and seek reimbursement afterwards. The purchase of additional seats serves as a notification of a special seating need and allows the airline to adequately plan for the number of occupied seats on board. Some passengers we talked to at Dallas Love Field think the policy is unfair. there.
I think if you're gonna take up 2 seats, you should pay for both of them. So
there's a flurry of attention to this policy right now.
Tigress Osborne is with the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance. She explains the need for the policy this way.
These kind of policies just formalize that for larger passengers. Larger passengers are subjected to a different kind of scrutiny and a different kind of scapegoating. We are all uncomfortable on planes, but you don't look at the broad-shouldered guy and blame him for the problem. You do look at the fat person and blame them for the problem. So we could all be working together as passengers, as customer service agents.
And Osborne says one of the criticisms she often hears about this policy is that it's going to raise the price of an airfare ticket on Southwest Airlines for other passengers in order to pay for these so-called free tickets. But she also pointed out that after having this policy in effect for, again, some 30 years, Southwest Airlines still remains one of the most affordable U.S. carriers.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, first and foremost, I just want to say that anytime I'm flying on Southwest Airlines, I identify as a customer of size, right? I identify as plus size, right? Because I want to have that free seat, okay? I want that additional seat. So therefore, I am now identifying as a plus size individual. And if you disagree with me, then you're a bigot, right? If I go up and I demand an extra seat and they have one available, and I say that, hey, I'm plus size, and they deny me the seat, I'm going to boohoo, whine, and cry. I'm going to kick, scream, and moan, and go on social media and complain about it and accuse this airline of hate and bigotry because they are not going along with my worldview, right? My view that I am a plus size individual, right? And I need extra space to accommodate me, okay, because of my size. But in all seriousness, though, not joking, I don't think much needs to be said about the clear and obvious, like, incentive structure of this type of policy that they claim has been around for years, right? This is what they claim, even though I've never heard of the term customer of size or the woke terminology of blank of something, right? Like, for example, people of color, right? Or whatever. That is a new thing, okay? That is a new thing. So this policy may have technically been around for years. However, there's no doubt in my mind that they've just started to kind of reword the policy or to remarket the policy because it is clearly and obviously a money grab. And what do I mean by that? On its surface, it seems unfair what they're doing. I think what they're doing is unfair, right? I think that it's not fair for you to give somebody an extra seat because they're too big to fit in a normal size seat. What I think what that says more so than anything is that, you know, there are issues that are beyond the airline's control that need to be addressed in order to solve that problem. But again, you can't have that conversation or else it's hate and bigotry, right? So again, you have to accommodate this. You have to capitulate to it because again, if you don't, you're going to be accused of hate and bigotry. But what it really is, it's just a money grab, right? And I'm going to tell you guys why it's a money grab. Well, the reason why it's a money grab is because, again, this is one of these, you know, low-cost carriers where there's no guarantee that there's actually going to be an available seat. So there's a couple ways in which you can take advantage of this, okay? The one way you can take advantage of it is if you show up to the airport and you only have one ticket, you only purchase one ticket, and you say, hey, I want to request this extra accommodation because I am a customer of size, which in order for them to determine whether or not you're a customer of size is whether or not you fit in the chair, right? In regards to can the armrest close, okay? If the armrest can close, then technically you're not a customer of size, okay? But if you're too big, you're so big that the armrest can't close, then you are a customer of size and you will be eligible, okay? However, if they don't have a seat available, then it's too bad, so sad, you gotta squeeze into that seat. Now, here's where the money grab comes in, okay? Because I think that the way that this airline is looking at it is that, well, if this seat is available, right, if the extra seat is available and nobody's in the seat, then we might as well gain some goodwill off of it, right, with some woke marketing by having this policy and marketing this policy so that, you know, people know that, hey, we're woke, right? We accommodate all the woke individuals, okay, right? here's where the money grab comes in, is when they require you to buy 2 seats. So to make sure that you can get that seat, to make sure that the seat is available. But yet afterwards, you have to request a refund. Now, that sounds good on paper, but in actuality, in regards to execution from a customer's perspective, it's probably a nightmare. Okay, it's probably a nightmare to buy 2 tickets and then turn around and having to deal with customer service after the fact to try to get that refund. Because that is basically, I think, what this airline is banking on. What they're actually banking on is people buying the 2 tickets and then attempting to get that refund from customer service, and then customer service being so bad, like a lot of these low-cost airlines, their customer service are terrible, right? The customer service being so bad that they rage quit and they decide not to pursue the policy, and they collected that extra money. I really think that that's what the goal is, right? I think that's why they have the policy in place, because now what you're doing is that you're encouraging the so-called plus size customers to buy that extra seat online, right? To actually purchase that seat because they need the seat because, you know, they take up too much space to fit in a regular size seat, which again, you know, that should be like the default policy, that you need to pay for the extra seat. Okay. That should be the default policy. In fact, I think that they should require it. Like if you can't fit in one seat, like your body takes up so much space that people can't sit comfortably next to you without you actually getting a second seat, they should just be required to buy the seat anyways, right? I'm so serious. But anyways, what you're incentivizing is for those people to go ahead and buy the seat up front, to not take the risk of showing up to the airport and not having an extra seat available. And you know that a certain amount of those customers who do buy the seat are going to attempt to get a refund. Not all of them will. And a certain amount of them will get that refund. You will have to refund those customers, but also a certain amount of those people that do seek the refund are basically going to rage quit and not get the refund, right? They're going to just give up and say, you know what, it's not worth the time, right? Especially when you're talking about, you know, a low-cost carrier like Southwest, where, you know, maybe a ticket might cost $50, $75, $100. Southwest can collect that. Some of it they will have to refund, but a lot of it they'll probably end up keeping, right? Because they've now incentivized the so-called plus-size customers to buy the second ticket up front, which is something that, again, they should be required to do in the first place, right? If you're too big to sit in one seat, you should be required to purchase that extra seat just for the comfort and safety of everybody else on the plane, right? I don't think they should be entitled to a refund, but what they're doing here is basically just collecting extra money and then hoping that they don't have to give all of it back, right? Through having terrible customer service that incentivizes people to basically give up when they try to get that refund that they're entitled to, right? I mean, this is math that they pay people to work out, right? They literally hire analysts to work out the probability of customers who buy that second seat actually getting the refund, right? Or going all the way through with it. I guarantee you that they're going to make it very, very, very hard in order for them to actually get that refund, right? Because at the end of the day, they really don't want to be handing out refunds for the tickets. They would much rather have people forget about it and rage quit and decide to, you know, let it be. And then they can also get the woke marketing, the goodwill off of it as well, too. In fact, you know, for as much backlash as Southwest Airlines is receiving from a business perspective, I think it's actually pretty smart, right? I think it's actually pretty smart from a business perspective. I understand exactly what they're trying to do. And you know it has nothing to do with trying to accommodate everybody, because why don't they have a policy for tall customers, right? For people that are too tall, okay, to comfortably sit in one seat or whatever, why don't they have a policy trying to accommodate them, okay? Give them more space. They don't. Well, the reason why they don't is because you don't have a community of tall people that are boohoo-whining crime victimhood. Okay? Again, that's the only difference. If you're tall, they're not giving you a refund for not having enough leg room. Okay? If you got to purchase a ticket where, you know, you can get more leg room, they're not giving you no refund. That's something that's been in existence forever. If you want more leg space, if you're a tall individual, hey, too bad, so sad. You better pay an extra $20, $30, $50, $60, $70 for that extra leg room. Okay, but they're giving a whole free seat if you're too big to like fit in the seat from a width perspective. Again, this sounds to me like height discrimination, okay? This is height discrimination, 100%. So again, they're just doing it to be woke. They're doing it for wokeness, and they're doing it as a cash grab. And that's just kind of how business goes, okay? At the end of the day, these policies seem woke on paper, but they're really taking advantage of the wokeness to actually collect some extra money that they otherwise probably would not have gotten. Because if they didn't have this policy, the incentive structure would be for the plus size passengers to just purchase, one seat. They'll boohoo on and complain about it, but then that plane is not collecting that extra money that they could have been collecting had they just encouraged the plus size passenger to purchase that extra seat and then hope they can get a refund, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.